Okay, I literally in my mind just said, this is a great log. And then I stubbed my toe on it. And then I laughed because I was like, log, I just told you how great you are. Lesson learned. It's still a great log. Having stubbed my toe on it doesn't change that fact. Or doesn't change my feeling about it. Come on, log. I mean, look, it has like this cool little nook for my bag. That's why I was like, what a great log. It's like, I'm great no matter what I do for you. I know my worth. Okay, log, okay. Oh shoot, I should have looked at this lesson before I sat down because I took a photo of it. I better do this too. This is A Course in Miracles, lesson 26, because today is January 27th. So I'm reflecting on yesterday's lesson. I tried to practice it a lot because I didn't like it as much. It was more uncomfortable than the others. Plus, it was like trying to find my way into it, you know? Let's see if I can remember. I think this is one I'm going to have to splice together. Okay, let me go check it out. Yeah. My attack thoughts are attacking my invulnerability. My attack thoughts are attacking my invulnerability. And then it says, like, I am concerned blank will happen. Fill in concern of choice. And don't treat one bigger or smaller than another. That goes for like all these lessons. I am concerned blank will happen. And then there's another, the next layer is I am afraid, or it's like I am concerned about blank. That's what that is. I am concerned about blank, a situation, person, place, or thing. And then I am afraid blank will happen. And you think of all the outcomes or things that might happen about the thing you're concerned about. Like, what are some possible things? What are you afraid of might happen with that thing you're concerned about? And then lastly, it says something like, that thought is an attack upon myself. So it started with, my attack thoughts are attacking my invulnerability. I am concerned about blank. I am afraid blank will happen. Name as many things as you can think of. And then that thought is an attack upon myself. Oh my God, we got through it with only one pause. Okay, invulnerability. So, let me just cut to the chase. In God's eyes, whatever your God is, whatever God is to you, the God that is greater than us, that created us, if you will, made us invulnerable. Like, we are invulnerable. Now you can argue, well, yeah, but somebody could hurt me. Somebody could hurt me physically, emotionally, mentally, whatever. Somebody could, like, literally take my life. Yeah, but underneath all that, what it's saying is, like, when you read the text, God made us invulnerable. We have that inner strength to draw upon at any time. It's our own doing that makes us feel vulnerable. Like, if somebody slings an insult, it doesn't have to land. It doesn't have to. And for some people it doesn't, right? Sorry, that shadow. So it's like, what is within me where that insult lands, where it didn't land in them when it got said to them, you know? So it's like, what is it in me that feels vulnerable to that attack? Because underneath it all, we're invulnerable. So it's just, I'm on my journey to recognize that. I'm not there yet. Like, I still allow myself to be hurt by my perception of others' intentions, perhaps. They might not even intend to hurt me. And I might feel, oh, that didn't feel good. You know, that sort of thing. And then sometimes I've had people intentionally try to push buttons and didn't faze me one bit, but I knew what they were doing. You know, so we're all on our own journey with that, I guess. So but this is about me and my thoughts. So it's like my attack thoughts are attacking my invulnerability, and it's all about the ego. The ego likes to remain in charge, and in order to do that, it needs us to believe we are vulnerable, and we need it for protection. And so therefore it will attack first to say, boom, see, you need me. As if we didn't know it was the ego attacking us. It's like the most horrific kind of relationship. Can be. Like, your attacker attacks you, so you seek protection with your attacker. So it's the most like codependent relationship you can imagine. Now, it didn't go into all those details. That's just coming up for me now. It's a reflection. So it's like, that's why in another video that I don't even know if wherever I said it, it may have been one of the ones that got corrupted. So maybe you've heard me say this, maybe you haven't. Actually, no one's listening yet, so no one's heard me say this. So it's like, I gotta leave more breadcrumbs for myself. I go on tangents and then I'm like, what was I about to say? And I haven't had my full dose of coffee yet. It's like I've said before in videos where it's like I truly am trying to harmonize my ego with other parts of me. And I'm not trying to resist the ego. I'm not trying to totally eliminate it, because I need it and I want it to know I need it. Like, I truly do. I'm not just saying that like, oh, I need you, just to like, patronize it, into submission. It's, I truly need it in daily life. I need it to like be logical, to like survey the land and make sure everybody's okay, and like, in certain roles I'm playing, like for example a TA, I need it to do its ego things for me. And if I made an enemy of it, it might rise up and in defiance or attack. So and I do want a more harmonious relationship with it. I don't want my ego to always make me feel bad about myself. And the more I've truly talked to it like like I personify it and talk to it like it truly is a piece of me, because obviously it is. We're humans. We were like intended to have an ego. So it's like, I think part of our mission here on Earth is to learn how to work with it. I truly believe that. And that's why you're like, oh my God, that person's an egomaniac, they're a narcissist, blah, blah, blah. That just means they're at one far end of that spectrum of harmonizing their ego into the rest of their personality structure and traits. So, and maybe they could find bring it back to the other side of the spectrum a little bit. And I just want mine to, whatever my balance is, whatever my harmony is between ego, spirit, my emotional body, like all the elements that make me me. I want ego to find its happy home where it's, and it varies by situation. I feel like when I'm with clients, I want that ego to dial it way back. And I do that in meditation before I see clients, especially Reiki and craniosacral sessions, because it's so about me getting out of the way and letting the energy, I'm working with the energy, but it's like my ego has to come way down and not infuse expectation into the situation, not infuse so much guiding. It's more about allowing, and the ego's not so good at allowing by nature. And so I have to say, before clients come in, I do my meditation and prayer and all that stuff and it evolves. I love how it's evolving with, like, it's never the same for any one particular session or day, or even with any particular client. Those two flies were just landed on me while they were mating. You guys, get a room. So I will say, like, okay, ego, I'm gonna have to ask you to just take a back seat. Like, and I usually do this motion, like, you can like fade into the background a little bit, just take a break. You deserve a break. You know, and it works. It works. Some of my best sessions are when I've taken extra time to do that. Like, and it's true, like, you deserve a break. You're on all the time. Like, take a break. We're gonna allow this next couple hours or whatever is all about just allowing what needs to happen, and we're gonna be there to witness and support. We will rise up when we need to, but we're gonna just allow and witness. And obviously me and my trainings, the techniques obviously are still there, and I'm doing my thing, you know, that people are paying for, but it's not about me having like, it's my ego is way back. It's not way up here where it's like, it's all about me and what I bring to the session. And no, it's about what you're walking in the door with and what you want to let go of, or what you need somebody's support in harmonizing within yourself. And so that's what I mean with kind of like my relationship with my ego and how it's evolving. I talk to it, and I really like, I sympathize and empathize with it. Like, oh, what if I was just somebody's ego, and I wanted to be like appreciated, you know, that part of us that's like, I'm smart, I'm good. Like, I want you to notice that, you know, don't let me run wild. I don't want to be a defiant toddler in your life. Like, ooh, and then you see yourself and check, oh, this ball just came over, but I'm not good at throwing balls. Let me see if I can kick it. Oh, I can't. I'm not good at this. That was my ego saying, I'm not good at this. That way they don't think I'm going to do that every time, because, see, they were much faster at chasing that second one. So anyway, yeah, I wouldn't, like, if I was an ego in somebody's self, I wouldn't, like, I know this is weird, you don't have to do this, it's just what's working for me on my journey at this moment of, like, where does my ego want to be in any particular situation? Where does it feel most effective? And not like it's running the show all the time, not like I'm like, where is it? I need your help here. Like, I squashed it completely. You know, it's all about harmony, and people say balance a lot, but I don't. The more I go along on this journey of everything, healing and spirituality, whatever that is, it's less about balance and more about harmony. Somebody said that to me once in my MBA program in school several years ago. This woman was talking about work-life balance. We had a lecturer, and she's like, I like to say work-life harmony, because, like, especially as more and more people, this was pre-COVID, but more and more people are working from home and on the road traveling to clients, especially when you're in an MBA program, you're being groomed. A lot of our cohorts were like, students were being groomed into high executive positions within their companies, and I was still like the only independent consultant doing it just because I wanted to learn this stuff because I'm a nerd. And they were like, you need, it's not about striving for balance, it's about striving for harmony, and that looks different for each individual person. So there's a little bit of context for you about that. Really stuck with me, and I tried. I don't like, even when I say the word balance, it comes out of my mouth less and less over the years. It's all about harmony for me. Gotta give you some more sun action there. And so with this lesson, my attack thoughts are attacking my invulnerability, that was a lot of background about harmony and ego, because the ego is the thing that's trying to cause disharmony. It's trying to say, I'm running the show here, and if you are not paying enough attention to me or respecting my authority, I'm going to attack you so that you know that you need me. Basically, that's what that's saying, because God made us invulnerable, whatever your relationship with God is. I'm still figuring mine out, and it feels weird to say God, because I've always been averse to religion, and now I'm definitely not adhering to any one religion, but I'm not religious in nature about anything, I guess. I don't know. I'll have to reflect on that. It's just my spiritual path, I guess. And even that, I'm like, what's my comfort with even those words? So anyway, just know that I'm not following one particular doctrine, dogma. That stuff makes me go, because I want a direct relationship to whatever this is. I don't want rules. I don't want hierarchy. I don't want structure, because it's false. It's false. I just want that I do feel religious about. I feel like that belief is firm. And I know religious and belief, those two words are definitely not the same thing. But my belief is that I personally want a direct relationship. I do not want to build up all this scaffolding to help me get there. I know that I can say blah, and God hears me. I just know that. So I don't need anybody in between. I don't need a priest. I don't need a pope. I don't, what is that anyway? It's just ego. It's all ego. And I'm sorry if you're Catholic and this hurts your ego. The ego is false. Just look inside and see, why did that make me feel icky when she said that? It's worth questioning. Who knows? Maybe you're right and I'm wrong. That was my ego saying that. So the ego likes to attack because it helps reinforce the idea that, I need you. I need you to protect me because I'm vulnerable. But if I truly felt and knew in my deepest depths, every time they hit, I'm like, that I was invulnerable, oh my God, there's such that knowing of inner strength that's impenetrable to other people's and even my own negative talk, my negative self-talk. That's what I want. That's my journey I'm on. Oh, hi, Guy. What are you doing? Sorry, that was weird. So, yeah, I don't to diminish the negative self-talk is the path I'm on. I start to notice it immediately. And I'm like, well, that was weird. Where'd that come from? Oh, ego. Thanks. You're trying to remind me that I need you for protection. And I don't. There's nothing here to protect, first of all. Underneath it all, there's no me here to protect. What is the me? It's a mask. It's it's an act. I'm presenting the meanness to you. The me-ness, not meanness. Definitely don't want to present that. But it's we all have our personalities that we love to be. We've adopted these personalities over time because they've worked for us. Because it's this is how people know me to be. So I'm going to continue to be this way. I'm going to continue to have this sense of humor because it, first of all, your personality can change. You can put on whatever masks, you can try on whatever acting masks you want and be like, oh man, yeah, this feels good. I should have done this a long time ago. This feels more authentic. Maybe take off the mask that says, ooh, I'm going to take off this people-pleasing mask. It was there for protection and for my other traumas that I've had, perhaps. So it's and feel free to take off masks that no longer serve you. I'm talking to myself here, obviously. And so, and like, surprise people. I love that, where it's like, if I am healing something and I'm like, oh my God, yeah, I can just let that part of me go. It's no longer serving me. And then when I show up the first time in front of somebody else and they're seeing something different for the first time, it can feel a little weird. For example, the people pleasing one, like when you take that off, it feels weird because you're holding a boundary perhaps that no one's ever seen you hold before, and it might be like, holy like they just ran into a brick wall, like figuratively, literally, they just ran into your boundary and they're like going going. Oh, and then it's fine, it feels good. You might just need a few more words to describe what just happened, like, no, don't worry, you're gonna be fine. You just ran into my boundary that you've never seen there before because it hasn't been there before. You'll be fine. Let me give you a Band-Aid. Which might be just some extra words, of comfort. Like, here's what happened. I'm holding a boundary now. Everything's going to be fine. We're all going to be much better for it. So, isn't that beautiful? Like those of you have already, like, duh, I've had boundaries my whole life. I know who I am. And it's like, I'm so happy for you. It just took me 40 years to get there. And probably 40 more to figure out the rest of them. I'm going to cry because I just feel so grateful for, like, even having started to consider boundaries. I remember sitting on this exact beach 2 years ago, exactly thinking, and it might have been in February. I feel like it was February, because stuff had already started to come up in a class of 42 people, where I'm like, we're together all the time. I can truly say, like, now, it's a cliche, but like, we're all empaths, but like, due to conditions in my life, in my past, like, I'm like on kind of the far end of the spectrum, apparently, where it's like, and without boundaries. So hello, I had some stuff to work through. And so I was like, oh, this boundary word, I'm starting to hear it here. Like, they're teaching us this concept of boundaries with clients. I need some for just general life, I think. And so I started to work on them here, journaling on the beach, this beach way down there. And I remember that it's only been a couple years where I started exploring my own boundaries. And I even sought help. And this woman, Daniela, who I mentioned at the farmer's market, who's now a dear soul friend of mine, I just got to connect with her this weekend again at the farmer's market. She does coaching. She's like, we talked several Saturdays in a row. Something just kept drawing me to her. And then she finally, as I was walking away one of those times, she reached out and she was like, would you be interested in doing some sessions together? And I was like, yes. I must have just like, thank you. And because she must have mentioned that she does it, and we hadn't like approached it. So she was timid about it too. I was timid, but I knew that's where I wanted this. And somehow I knew it deep that this is like the first step in the boundary journey was with her. And we did like 5 or 6 sessions while I was in town, and some even while I was in town, but we did them on Zoom or Telegram or WhatsApp, whatever we used. And then when I went back home, I think we had another one. So we spread them out over the time I was here in different formats, and it was amazing. We did all kinds of boundary work. We talked about the elements, like I have a lot of water in my chart. We talked from all angles, like astrological, just elemental, kind of from the traditional Chinese medicine route of like all the elements. And like in interpersonal relationships, like you might have friends that have a lot of fire and you're a lot of water. Well, what does that mean? And all in other ways too, like defining your values and like just basic stuff that I had not put a lot of thought into, really. And sorry, I was like, is that a leaf or a crab? I thought I saw it do a little sidewalk. I wanted to show you if it was a crab. A leaf, yeah, you don't need to see that. So let me check the time. It's kind of long. Okay, 6:48. I'm not going to class right away. I don't need to skedaddle. So anyway, we did a lot of boundary work together, and that was just the beginning. That was just the tip of the old iceberg for me. And then I was off and running. And there was no shortage of opportunity in massage school in an intensive program like this with 41 other students to work on your boundaries. And oh, I did, whether I wanted to or not. Some stuff came up that was not pleasant. And I'm still integrating those lessons into my life. I'll reflect on it and at some point when some other thing is healed, and I look back and I'm like, oh my God, that's why I was behaving that way. Now I know how I would react today, that sort of thing with integration. So I know that my ego needs harmonizing, and I think that's this lesson. Like, I did go through some scenarios of like, I am concerned about XYZ. I'm afraid blank will happen. I'll just share a very vulnerable one with you because I'm here not making money. I've done a career change where I'm making just a fraction of what I was making before. And the money I had saved up from my lucrative career has dwindled because I've gotten my other bodywork business up and running and done a lot of continuing education that was expensive while I could do it, to like dip my toes in those waters. So there are these paths I want to follow. And it really, luckily, has supported me having that savings to launch into this farther than I could have otherwise, farther faster, because I'm like, I'm in my later years in life, honestly. I'm not just like 22 here, I'm 45, and now I'm 47. So it's like I've spent a lot of money. And so my concern was like, I'm concerned about my financial stability right now. Like, I still look far out enough ahead, like in a year, if I continue like being away from my practice, spending money more than making money, yeah, I'm gonna be in a bad state. It's not like next week. So, but I've been there when it's like in parts of my life, I'm like, oh my God, I can't pay this bill. So I get what it feels like, and I think that's why it's a little scary. So I am afraid. So when I say I'm concerned about my financial stability, and then you go to the next question or statement, it's like, I am afraid blank will happen. Well, underneath it all, I tried to strip it down to like the underneath it all, what I'm afraid of, because this is one of my biggest fears. What I stripped it down to is I am afraid of being dependent on someone else. Yeah, I'm afraid of what I owe the IRS. Yeah, because it's a lot more these days when making a lot less, which is fucking ridiculous. I won't go there. So it's like, and I feel like I've paid 10 lifetime share in taxes with what I used to make. But hey, it's all percentages. I gotta let it go. God, they're making me nervous. So, I am afraid dependency will happen, because underneath all of those other fears that are more superficial, you strip all that away. I'm afraid of being dependent on somebody else for daily living. Because right now, my husband and I, we keep everything separate. We don't have joint anything. We never have. We kind of like where, like, for example, because I moved into my house first, all the bills were in my name. So I pay everything, and I say, here's your half for the month, and he pays me half. And so it works for us. And I guess my fear is like, ooh, that might change. And he's already offered. He's like, if you need help at any time, because now he makes more than me, where I used to make more than him. And yeah, I used to shell out more for the household stuff every month. I used to say, I've got this Walmart trip. I don't need you to help pay. He was supporting 3 kids. So yeah, we just pick up the extra slack where needed for each other over the years. It's more balanced out, I guess, because now he's doing a lot more of that, or I'm letting him. At first I wasn't. I'm like, I'm still gotta And so that was a lesson I was working through. Like, let him. He appreciates it. And he would feel so good doing it. And he did. And now he's like, what if I had to rely on him even more? Because his job, it's already stressful. And I don't want him to feel more dependent on his job because I'm dependent on him. So this idea of dependency is a big one for me. And then that's actually, apparently I've read it. I used to have it as a reminder on my phone, like this, is it called the fear of dependency? I think it was called the fear of when you can't help yourself. They had a different word that was more dramatic. But yeah, basically that's the fear underneath all of this. And so I'm grappling with that. And then, so that's what this lesson brought up, which is a big fear. And so I'm like, ooh, I need to sink my teeth into this one, because when I think about it, how is it so bad being dependent on somebody for a little while? Like, I'm gonna cry, because isn't that what us humans do? And then we like doing that for each other. No man is an island unto himself, basically. Reminds me of that. I'm having a hot flash. And isn't that the beauty of humanity? And if I go back to A Course in Miracles, one of the very first sentences is like, it's listing what miracles look like. And it's one of the sentences just got seared into my brain as like, a miracle is when someone temporarily has more of something and gives it to somebody who temporarily has less of something. That's what Matt and I've been doing for each other for 12 years. In one way or another. So is it bad if the ratios just look different? The universe doesn't care about the how muchness of things, right? It's just that you're doing that for each other. And so I think it's this, like, I've been in financial stress before, and I don't like that feeling at all. And I think because I feel it creep, it's on the horizon out there. I'm like, it's getting bigger. It's like when the sun was rising, the sun's getting bigger. I'm like, I see it more and more. I need it to go back over that horizon. So I think I'm going to treat it as a form of motivation. And I've already thought about some other income streams that support my alignment journey, my purpose in life. Not just like, oh, I'm gonna pick up a side hustle that I don't care about. I'm not at that phase of life anymore. It's gotta be in alignment with my journey. And so, I'm thinking about other things too for the longevity of my career, because I'm getting into this older, it's probably already got carpal tunnel. So, I gotta take care of myself more. I've gotta be more gentle on myself. I can't just do 6 hours of straight body work a day without some Reiki or craniosacral or these other gentler modalities woven in. And eventually, maybe I hope to only do that stuff where it's gentle for both of us, and I can refer out for traditional massage. So we'll just see how it evolves. But that's what keeps my mind occupied, is like, oh wait, that's why I chose this path. I can make it look like whatever I want. And nothing has to trap me into it looking like one way. And I think that's what this lesson is really getting us to do, is like, okay, strip everything down. These attack thoughts. You're not vulnerable. You are invulnerable. So what are you really afraid of? You're afraid of being human. You're afraid of expressing some vulnerability and dependency and asking for help. Oh my God, you're afraid of asking for help? You're afraid of being human? And then if you're afraid of being human, I've been accused of that in the past. Like, she's not human, because I was like, push, push, push. I'm a machine. I don't want to be a machine. I want to be this little baby sometimes. Like, take care of me. But it's hard. It's hard. Oh my God, it's hard. For me, that's the journey I'm on. It's like, it's okay to express your vulnerability and dependency and Say, I need help. So I'm going to call this one done because holy crap, it's a long one. We did a lot with this lesson. At first I was like, I just want to breeze over this lesson today. That's kind of what I was thinking this morning. I was like, it's just going to be short because I don't want to talk about it too much because it's hard. And look where we went. I got tears and behind these glasses and everything. Like we went like to my fears, to the fear place. And this is when I'm going to be honest here. I am so weirdly excited and ready to understand what my fear barriers are and like try to, like that was fearful. Hey guys, settle down back there. And try to push through them, through the fear barriers, whatever they are. And I feel like that one has been one of my whole life. Because of my past, it goes back to my childhood trauma, and I know those words are becoming so well talked about today, but I just don't want to poo-poo it like you might if you're like, oh my god, everybody's talking about the trauma. Yeah, we are. It's time to heal it. It's time to friggin' heal it. So yeah, I'm going to continue talking about my childhood trauma because I'm still healing from it. I've done so much work, but there's more to do. There's more integration from the work I've done. And part of that is like this idea of dependency. So yeah, I'm going to talk about it. And I want everyone to feel okay talking about it because we're human and there's support and it's okay to ask for help. See, it's all related. Full circle. Full spiral. Okay, I'm going to go. And maybe I will go to class while they're taking their exam. So I'll be there for lecture time when they're done. Thank you for being on this journey with me. I feel supported. Have a beautiful Monday and week ahead.